Hello, people. Andrew here, talking about comics from a reader, collector, speculator, investor point of view, in that order of importance to myself. But today I'm looking at some of the. I was at a comic convention the weekend that just passed, and I went in there with the best of intentions to buy a bunch of important books or Silver Age books, bronze books to add to my collection. And I started off that way, buying a number of Strange Tales and Doctor Strange. But then I started looking around at. It was a busy place. I started looking around at some of the key books and the Fantastic Four and what have you, and I found that there was a number of older books, not quite as many Silver Age as I like, but those that were selling Silver Age books and key books or anything like that, they were asking far too much for the books. Books that I was seeing that somebody was offering for $250, and I have seen it in a local store for like $75. It's just, I understand that you raise the prices sometimes because there's a certain amount of haggling involved. And I can also understand that some of these people were American, and so they were converting it to Canadian dollars. I'm here in Canada. So I understand that it just seemed that they were asking far too much for what they were offering. Now it was a busy place, as I say, and while I was picking up my Strange Tales book, there was a gentleman there, and either he picked up Amazing Spider-Man #1 or it was Amazing Fantasy #15. I think it was the Amazing Fantasy 15 in a 1.0 or 1.5, somewhere around there. I don't know what the price was, but I know it was thousands of dollars. So there were some big collectors there spending some top dollar, but I found that a lot of the people there, you had to make way for room in some of these dollar and bargain bins. So I bought a lot of the. As I said, I found some Silver Age, Strange Tales, and Doctor Strange at a good price. Then I got sort of sidetracked by some of these dollar bins. It's been a couple of months since I've been to a comic book show. I've only been to a comic book store once in the last 2 months. So I was kind of itching, and when I saw these deals, there was $2 bins, and then there was six for $5. It worked out that I bought about 120 of these books, and ended up paying like $1.20 a piece for them overall. Some good deals there for me, anyways, and I completed 4 series, 3 of them very small. Actually, none of them were very big, but 4 series completed and chunks made in other ones. And of course, I also made some mistakes, and I'm not going to call them regrets because you're just buying on the fly, and you pick them up, and you come back and find that either they're duplicates or they're in worse condition than you thought. This first one here is a duplicate, but I was okay to take the chance on that because very hard to find Vietnam Journal in anybody's bargain bins these days. I just don't find it. So I don't need this one, but I'll get into the whole story about those later. Another duplicate that I bought on purpose, first issue of Ryan North's run on the Fantastic Four with that great Alex Ross cover. It's a good book, and maybe I'll pass it along to somebody because I enjoyed that series. Again, this is another one that I picked up that was a duplicate as well. It's the first in the series called The Crusades, and then it goes into a regular run. I love this book. I love the artwork by Kelly Jones and what have you. Very good story. I'll review it at some other point in time. I'm reading the Hulk right now, and I've been picking up some odd Hulk books here and there, the dollar bins from later runs. I didn't realize that I already had this one because I haven't read that far into the run yet, so that's a duplicate. This is one of those. Well, this one is actually a regret. I did get a ton of Punisher War Journal, and I know I already had this one, but this was the Punisher and Daredevil, which usually commands a little bit better price, but it's got a big crease in the middle. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does have a crease right down the center, so it's really not worth that much. It's Birdcage. So Avengers, a lot of Avengers material out there that I do like, and I'll get into that sometime too. Avengers, The Initiative, Avengers Arena, books that I didn't think would be interesting turned out to be very interesting. And Avengers Academy was one of those. So I'm looking to pick up this entire series. And I picked up 4 of them here to move that along. Issues 33, issue 34. It looks like they're having bad days. Issue 35. That looks like Almost the death of the White Tiger. And issue 36. What did I do? Yes, that is issue 36. So, interested to see how the final exam works out, and interesting to read the whole Avengers Academy run. What I've read so far I've liked, so I am looking forward to completing that. X Factor. I've been big on the X Factor, especially the Peter David second run. This is from the first run. I did not know that this X Factor special existed. Written by Jim Starlin, illustrated by Jackson Guise. So happy to get that because I didn't even know it was there, and this is from the 90s. And again, Firestorm, still going through that, various incarnations of Firestorm. An Uncanny X-Men that I didn't have. I don't have a lot of Uncanny X-Men, so picking them up for $1.20 for the ones that I don't have, that seems like a fairly good deal. Same thing about Iron Man. I got a lot of the bronze and copper Iron Man and a sizable chunk from 2000, but not a lot of the older stuff. So I got a ways to go to pick that up, but that was good. Always working on aspects of the Fantastic Four, and that includes The Thing. I got 2 series here. This one's Startling Stories, and the other one is Freak Show. By buying this issue and the 2 of the Freak Show, I've reduced both of those 4-issue sets down to needing 1 book for completion. So happy about that. And again, we're talking about characters from the Fantastic Four, and that's a pursuit of mine. So. And I do like the artwork on the cover of this, and it's pretty much duplicated within the book itself. Thor is another character that I've picked up a lot of in the last couple of years, and this one is issue 4 of Blood Oath, which now means that I have 5 of the 6 for this series. Or is that, yeah? Or is it a 5-part series? No, it's a 6-part series, so I now have 5 of the 6 of that one. Next match. So Vertigo did a series of 3 city books. They did Vertigo Bangkok, Vertigo Tokyo, and Vertigo London sometime in the 90s. Now I read the Vertigo Bangkok and I really liked that. So when I saw that London was up and about and I got 3 of the 4, I thought that's a good place to start, and I'm interested to read this. Also written by Peter Milligan, so that's something to look forward to. That was issue number 1. Issue number 3. And issue number 4. Again, being a Fantastic Four fan, I realized I did not have this particular miniseries. It was the first issue of it for, as I say, about $1.20, $1.25. Here's getting into the Vietnam stuff by Don Lomax. I knew of Vietnam Journal. I wasn't aware that there was a Tet 68 series, which is a 6-issue series. I'm happy to get issue number 1 of this and issue number 3 as well. I think he is one of the better writers when it comes down to the Vietnam War. His stories, I'll get into it more when I talk about his actual book itself, the Vietnam Journal. So that's why I picked up the extra one, because it's been a while since I read them. I don't know exactly which covers I have. I knew I didn't have anything lower than like 9 or something, so 3 was a good pickup, as was number 8. If there were more, I would have picked up more. There was a series of these books by a company called Virgin from India creators and what have you. And there was about 4 of these books that came out all around the same time. And a lot of the times when I have a new company come out with a series of books, I pick one that looks interesting to me to see what direction that sort of company is going. So I picked Snake Woman here, Shakar Kapoor's Snake Woman. I really liked Snake Woman. Again, I'll go through that at some other point in time. I wasn't sure if I had the director's cut or if they're all called the director's cut. But having the first issue again, I'm okay with that. It's there's no inherent value in it, but it could be a sleeper at some point in time. But a really good series, and I do recommend it. relatively new. I know a lot of when people say new, it's new to me, but something from the 50s that I've never read before would be new to me. But this is from the 2020s or something like that. I have the bulk of the New Mutants. I think actually I have all of the New Mutants from the 80s. But moving forward, it's all scattered and piecemeal. So every once in a while when I find one, I'll pick one up. PC Comics did a couple of anthology series, Alien Worlds and Twisted Tales. They also did this one called Vanguard Illustrated. I consider it the weakest of the three, but still, it's an anthology series, more science fiction than anything else. So I'm interested in picking up this. There's only like 7 issues in this series, and they're not that easy to find, especially some of these later ones. So that was issue number 3, issue number 4, and issue number 5. So happy to get those ones. Again, as I say, when this stuff from India came out from Virgin Comics, I picked on the snake one, but there were other series, and this is one of the other series, the Saru. So I don't know anything about this series, other than as I said, I like the snake one. So when I find these for a buck and a half or whatever it is, I will pick it up so that I'll give it a read, see if it's as interesting as Snake Woman was. I do like the covers. The style of the books are pretty good. Last time I was here doing one of these, I talked about the Human Target because I picked up a number of issues, like something like 9, 10, 11, from the series that I didn't know existed. And this is book number 1. So I haven't read any of the other books. I will add this to that run line, and then I'll get a little bit closer to the Human Target collection. Doctor Strange, surprised that I didn't have this one. Have a lot of the Doctor Strange moving forward. It's out of all of these new books that come out in the 2000s and moving forward, there's a couple that I've been concentrating on. Doctor Strange, Daredevil, and Fantastic Four. So I'm closer to the completion of that whole group. And this was nice to find that I didn't have this particular one. And again, sometimes I find out that there are books out there that I didn't know existed. This was one of them, Doctor Strange and the Punisher for Magic Bullets. I picked up issue 1 the last time I went through a bargain bin. This is issue number 3. The Avengers. Okay, so this is stuff from 2022. I haven't read any Avengers material, like premium, like the main group, for quite some time. So interested to see where we are in 2022. I'm basically concentrating on the Bronze Age Defenders leading into the Copper Age. But again, this is one of those things when you collect a particular title and you move when that title comes to an end, and there's volume 2, volume 3. There's a tendency, well, for collectors anyways, to look in on that and see what's going on with the characters that they like. So I don't know. This is only a 5-issue series. This is issue number 3. We'll see where we're going with that. Oh, and this is more of the Avengers stuff. I know some of these are variant covers, but that doesn't really make any difference to me. That's your Predator versus Blade. I'm still surprised that Blade is an Avenger. What could have gone wrong in the world to make that happen? So, we'll see what these are like. Because as I say, at one point in time, and being an Avenger meant it was a very elite or select group, but now it's anybody who can don a costume can pretty much become an Avenger. Interesting cover. All kinds of characters out there being Avenger-like and fighting some sort of giant crocodile thing. I do like the design on the covers. I think these books are written by Jason Aaron. I don't know what all of these things are. I don't know what the Day of Judgment and all that sort of stuff. So, again, I haven't read a lot of this stuff. So, and again, we're looking at a whole whack of Avenger faces. Like, if all of these characters are Avengers, that's an awful lot of Avengers. But I would say they probably are. Okay, so this one... I like this. This was another good find for me. Issue number 14 of Primal Force, because it completes my run of Primal Force. Now, you might not know much about it. It's only a 15-issue series, 0 through 15. I am going to do a video on this. I like this team very much. It's from DC Comics. It's such an oddball little team. They have the Claw, Red Tornado, Jack-O-Lantern, the Golem, and a gal named Meriden. I think her name's Meriden. All teamed together for this sort of religious sect group trying to defend and protect. A very interesting, very interesting series. I like the series. I like the character development, and I like the characters, and I like their interaction. So to complete this series, that's a happy day, and then I will read the whole thing. Shadowland, I did not care for the Shadowland storyline that much. But I'm interested in reading some of these stories that are connected to it. Just, again, this is the completionist in me for certain things, and so I did not have this one. This is 204 of Blood on the Streets. And the same thing goes for the Secret Invasion. I'm interested. I've read the Secret Invasion once before, but for some reason I no longer have it. I'm looking to rebuild it, but I don't want to spend that much money to rebuild it. So this is just the first of the rebuild, issue 5 of 8, again for $1.20. Oh, all right. CrossGen was a company, again, much like that Virgin company that had the Snake Woman. They had a number of titles that they released, and I picked one, which was Meridian, to read. And I enjoyed Meridian and have gone back now. I mean, then the company, of course, they collapsed and fell apart and stopped producing books. So a lot of these books from the CrossGen line are now dollar books. I haven't read anything from Scion. I know that there was Sigil and Sojourn, and then there was Scion. I knew that I was reading 2 of the 3 S-titled books, and I picked the wrong one. But that's okay. I'm interested in seeing where this is going, and it's not going to cost me a lot to read it. I think I got about 5 or 6 issues here. Let's hope that it's interesting. It seems to be written all by the same guy, Ron Mars, so... We'll take a look, and sort of a fantasy type of thing. I liked the CrossGen universe. I'm sorry that it didn't quite work out, but there are some good titles or interesting titles in there. This is, again, more of a fantasy style book, which isn't necessarily the kind of book that I like to read. Sometimes they get into some of those tropes that just don't quite work, but I do like the whole sigil here. This is what gives certain people certain powers, so interested to see what this one's like. This one completes this series here, Fall of Sunrise, issue number 1. I'm a little disappointed. I'm happy to get number 1 to complete the series, and I'll reread the whole thing. Disappointed because it's the variant cover one. All the other covers I have, 2 through 4, are the original covers that mirror the artwork on the inside. And it's very different artwork than you would expect from other books at the time. Very stylized type of look, and the covers reflect that. So having this one be the variant cover, I'll take it because it completes the run. Just as I said, if I find an issue number 1, again, I'm only going to be looking in the dollar bins for this stuff that completes it in the same cover. I'll be picking up that. This is a one-shot, New Avengers. Yep, I'm down for that. At one point in time, I had the whole reboot of Deathlock, a different type of character from the 90s, the whole Marvel Tech sort of idea. It was a decent series, and for whatever reason, as I said, I've departed with it, and I've had an inkling to reread it again, so I'm going to be picking it up where I can find it for a lower cost. Always on the look for Batman or Detective Comics as well. Finding one that I don't have is always a treat in the dollar bins, and surprise, I didn't have this one. Tom Strong, part of the ABC lineup by Alan Moore. I really liked Tomorrow Stories and Promethea. and I have a chunk of those. Talk about those later, but I thought I would, when I get an opportunity. Again, this was one of those situations where a book comes out, the ABC books, and they had like 5 titles or whatever it was, and I was picked one. I actually picked 2, Tomorrow Stories and Promethea, to try and follow. But I've heard good things about Tom Strong as well, so I'm starting to pick up those where I can find them. Very happy about this one. This one completes the Crusades. For whatever reason, at some point in time, I departed with this particular issue because I had a friend that really liked Richard Corbin covers, and this was going years ago. And I was thinking about getting out of comic books, so here we had this one. Well, I'm not out of comic books. I'm right back into it, and I really like Richard Corbin, so why I gave this one up, I don't know. But it's very happy to pick it up again. It completes the whole Crusades run that I have. I'm going to reread it and then review it again. But very happy to get this one. And last time out, I was talking about Crash Ride and Epic Comics, and I only picked these up because I had issues 1 and 4, so this is issue 2 and 3. I will read this whole series and take a look at it. I don't think that the 1 and 4 were not all that, stellar. Didn't do anything remarkable, but we'll see what the whole series is now that I can put it together. Ended up getting a lot of Punisher and Punisher War Journal, Punisher and Punisher War Journal material. I like the character enough. It's very simple stories, right? It's Frank Castle versus the criminal world, and he takes no prisoners. It's pretty straightforward stuff and just different people writing it. This is Greg Rucka writes some of this. There are so many volumes of this, I'm never sure if I'm going to duplicate or not. There's like 12 or 13 volumes of the Punisher. So fighting in issue number 5 of the Punisher, is it issue number 5 from volume 7 or 6 or 9? Who knows? It's not so easy to track them down all the time. So I got all these, and thankfully I don't have any of these ones. I have a lot of the very first Punisher run, the one that ran for 104 issues. So that one's nearly complete, and then it's everything else afterwards. This is Rick Remender doing Frank and Castle. I've heard people talk about this one. I don't know if they've talked about it in a good way or a bad way, but we're going to find out what Frank and Castle's all about. Sounds like it's kind of fun. I mean, Punisher is always, no, not always, but he's been a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's not so heavy. It is lighter entertainment. This is a little bit of a regret on this one. I mean, it's good for a reading copy, and I'm interested to see where we go with that. But it's got a lot of rippling and water damage on it. You can't really see that here too well, but it's there, and it's like if I had been a little bit more observant, I would not have picked it up. And then I got a lot of the War Journal material. Again, they're pretty much all the same kinds of stories that you're going to get, and there are going to be some arcs that are going to be better than others. But it's a relaxing read away from other things. And again, some people don't like the idea that he's this very physical vigilante, and he doesn't take any prisoners. But it's a nice little bit of a change of pace sometimes, that the criminal gets their comeuppance the way you think they should. So, and as I say, all a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek approach to it as well. Some arcs better than others. There's some that are really bad too, but you'll take your chances with that, and I'll take my chances with that and see what works. See? A little tongue-in-cheek here. You've just rented a jet ski to the Punisher. Kiss that baby goodbye. Yeah, so I'll look forward to reading this. It's just be light entertainment. Comic book. Don't take it seriously. Not the Punisher anyways. Don't take it too seriously, but what he's doing, and just have some fun with it. It's like watching some of those action films, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger films, or anybody, even John Wick or stuff like that. You're not taking it seriously. You're just enjoying it for the action and the fun of it. And it's the same way I feel about the Punisher, is that sort of thing. So picking up a lot of these books. It's an 80-issue run for the Punisher War Journal. I'm about halfway through now, so I'll continue to pick it up until it completes, because I like reading these stories as I say, a sort of a light sort of entertainment type of thing. Got a couple of Marvel fanfares, working on that one too. There's about 60 issues in this one. This one's nice. Got the Man Thing in there, and I like the Man Thing, so that was happy enough. And then this one here, issue number 21 with the Thing and the Hulk and Doctor Strange. The Marvel fanfare is pretty much a hit and miss, and I think it's more miss than hit. But there are some really good series. The finals of the series featuring Shanna are great. So we'll get to that at some point in time. And some of the other earlier ones were good. Somewhere in the middle, not so much. All right, I really like the early Luke Cage Hero for Hire. And then when it goes sort of into the Bronze Age, it's fun as well. I mean, he's really at a street level in that. And then by issue number 50, he joins up with Iron Fist, and this goes on until issue number 125. And again, it's a little bit lighter in tone. Am I interested in collecting the whole thing? Yeah, I am. So that's why when I saw that these books were being offered up for about $1.25, I decided that I would build and fill in some of this collection. I don't know. See, they're asking. Somebody was at some point in time asking like $5 for the book, and this one here they're asking $25 for the book. That's a mistake. So happy to get these, and it brings it closer. I have a fair amount of that, as I said, the bronze and into the copper, but I'm bringing this one closer and buying a few more issues. You got Chemistro facing off here, so all in pretty decent condition. That one's a Canadian variant. And then part of the Secret Wars 2, issue number 121. I also found a number of Sandman Mystery Theater, which is not a common book to find, especially some of these later ones. There's a lot of the first, because when the book first came out, people were trying to promote it and sell it, so there was a fair amount of copies. And then as it goes later on, stores are ordering less and less copies as the drop off of people buying the book. So finding some of the later issues of this, and it's not late because I think this ran for like 75 or 80 issues, and these are right around the 50 mark. That's 42, and then that's 40 something or other. But I liked what I read so far. Looking forward to reading the rest. This is my last batch. It's more Sandman Mystery Theater. I do like the covers. That one really has that pulp fiction type of cover. So I like that. And that was issue 50. That's 51. And then we're moving into 53. Another collection I'm working on would be the Namor. I haven't started into the Submariner yet, although I've been seeing a fair amount of good quality Submariner books at a reasonable price, and so it's always a consideration. And it's just like I got to rein myself and say, no, I got to focus on something a little bit more, like Strange Tales or whatever. So getting some of these from that Namor run was fine. Marvel Comics Presents, and I'll talk about this again some other time, is about 180 issues in this series. There's a few that are worth a couple of dollars, but overall it's not that expensive, and as you can see, I'm getting it in dollar bins. I do like the series. There are 4 chapters or 4 stories per book. Some of it, as I say, are chapters, chapter 8 of 10 or whatever it is, and some of them are solo stories. But generally speaking, every issue is going to offer you something that you're going to find interesting. I can tell you right now that I have read these original ones, and I really liked the whole Colossus story that went through this God and Country, I think it's called. So there was a lot of interesting stories through here. And look, you get a Hulk Wolverine story in this one here. You get art by Sam Keith on these later issues here in the 80s to 100s or whatever, and then some. And I really like the Sam Keith covers. This one's got tanning on there, but I'll take it to add to the collection. This one is a lot fresher and brighter as far as the whites are concerned. A very nice Sam Keith cover there. Picture of Wolverine. A nice Cable and Ghost Rider by Sam Keith as well. So very happy about getting these and bringing that and coming closer. I mean, all this stuff brings you closer to completing this particular collection. And as I said, I do like Sam Keith's artwork. So finding it on the covers is great. And it might be one of those things that people go back and pick up on. So, good series overall. And you got Daredevil, Cyber. So that was all the dollar bin and bargain bin stuff I bought. The Silver Age Strange Tales, Doctor Strange that I picked up. So all of this stuff was at half price. And for some reason, when it comes down to Strange Tales, I'm happy to get a lower to mid-grade copy of a Strange Tales book. Fantastic Four, I look a little bit more sharper for quality, but they're also more expensive books. This one, for example, I know that there is some discoloration down here, but the yellow and red on it look pretty sharp. And it's featuring, the Human Torch and Iceman. I believe it's the first time that they've met up as side by side for the very first time. So you've got that. You've also got the ninth appearance of Doctor Strange, which is illustrated by Steve Ditko. And the whole package, it's a Silver Age. The whole package cost me $50. And I thought $50 was a pretty good price for that particular book. And then filling in parts of that Strange Tales run, issue number 142. It's got some ticks over here, but overall it presents pretty good. And this one was $20. So that was a fairly good price for $20. Again, we're looking at a mid-grade. We're looking at what, maybe a 5 or so? And this one is just a slightly sharper, and it was $25. Some tick up there, a little bit of a roll here, just a slight, but overall a nice crisp shape there, a nice bright reds. Colors are good and sharp on that. Yeah, I'm good with that. And again, this is the first appearance of Contessa, and featuring Captain America and Nick Fury, and I picked it up for $45. And again, that's somewhere in a 5 to 6. It looks like it's a Sterango cover, and again, the Doctor Strange is included in there. Very happy about that one. And again, just filling in that run there, and this was $20 for this one here. Not such brilliant whites that jump off the page, but still, and some ticks here, a sharp enough copy for $20. Oh, and the final book is this one here. Again, this is happy because it completes a collection. It completes the Doctor Strange, the first volume of the Doctor Strange series, which was not that long. It was what? Like 14 or 15 issues, but still getting it completed was a happy thing. It only cost me $50. It's looking pretty good shape out of all of those that I've just shown you. That this is moving into the 6 and 7 territory, maybe even higher. People like to press books. I'm not one of them, but I'm sure that if you pressed and cleaned it, you'd probably get a 7 out of that. So overall, I'm pretty happy about that book. Actually, I'm pretty happy about the purchases. I was there for a couple of hours, and then the bag started getting heavy, and it's just like, and there was a lot of people moving around and what have you, and it's just like, you know what? I could, drop these off at the car and come back and poke around a little bit more, but I think I'm done for today. I got lots of reading material, and I built on some collections. I completed 4 series. All is good. So that's purchases just recently made. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.